Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. Welcome back to another 1 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I'm your host, Strange Bear Jim, and today we're going to be getting back into some Pega certification study. I don't think we're going to be doing any Unreal today. I haven't got any kind of confirmation from, well, I mean, in a way, I got confirmation from him in that he said that he was going to be busy today for his grandmother. So, I basically stated to him that I'm going to make the assumption that um, you will not make it for the Unreal. So, if something was to change, then he could always contact me. But I'm going to make the assumption that he will not be able to make the Unreal, which is perfectly fine. You know, I want him to spend as much time as he has, you know, with his family, um, especially his grandmother, uh, because you never know when that last day might be. So, um, um, so I want him to, uh, you know, make sure that he doesn't, that he kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Eventually we all lose everybody, right? I want him to be ready for the day where she does pass on, and he's okay with it, you know. Um, in a sense, obviously loss is a loss, but um, you know, it's um, you know, the in some ways, I want him to be kind of celebrate the life that he had with her, if you get what I'm saying. Enjoy the time that you have, make the most out of it. And then that way, if that person passes on, you remember all those good memories and they outweigh that loss. You can kind of remember all the good things all the good times that you had, with that person. So, and that, you know, uh, pushes out the loss, you know. So, obviously that loss is still there. That won't necessarily go away per se, but, you want that remembrance of what you had with that person to be you know, um, what you want to remember, you know, that's what you want to hold on to. So, so yeah. Um, we have some more videos to upload. Um, Only uploaded Warframe yesterday, so there wasn't any Pega video or Unreal yesterday, so don't really need to worry too much about that. Matter of fact, I can't really even do anything with that Warframe video until much later anyway. But, I mean, we still got a lot of old videos that we need to upload or make public, so we're going to be doing that probably next hour, or, in around, you know, 2 p.m. And then we're going to be going on to some Warframe later on tonight. So that's the plan for today's schedule, right at this moment in time. But for those of you that are just, watching, or wanting to watch these Pega videos, um, you you might not necessarily care about that. If you don't, that's perfectly fine, understandable. You're here because Maybe you're working towards your Pega certification and you're looking for something to kind of help you out in some way or another. Hopefully these videos helps with that in some fashion or another. Um, but let's talk about that a little bit. Who am I? What are these videos about? And what can you really expect from them? So, myself right now, I'm currently unemployed. I'm trying to get a job as a software developer in pretty much wherever I can go. My last job was with the Pega environment. We were trained by a authorized training partner in Pega, but me and my peers were not happy with the training process, and pretty much the majority, if not all of us, had gone to self-study because we were having troubles with our the training partner there. Some of us asked to be put back into the training again so that we could, relearn or learn Pega better with a different authorized training partner. But that never happened. So the one and only time that I was forced to take the certification, I was definitely not ready for it, and well, I failed it. I mean, I was not ready. Um, because I was already on self-study at that point in time, and I wasn't getting anything from the training partner at that point. Um, so yeah, it was pretty much a disaster. But um, not much I can really do about that now. They pushed me into a contract for the Pega environment, and I was kind of hoping that I could get like a decent mentor, but the only the individuals there were pretty much focused on their job, not necessarily mentorship. And while they might have been perfectly fine on answering questions, they weren't really there to kind of, I mean, they didn't sign up to be a mentor. Um, so I mean, I can't blame them for that at all. So, you know, nor should anybody else blame them for that. Okay. Mentorship should be something that a company should really kind of focus on and like say, hey, we need a mentorship to help out any new recruits, learn more. So does anybody want to step up into that role? Okay. That's probably what should be happening. But, you know, if a company doesn't have that, then I implore leads, managers, veterans of Pega, try to set something like that up because, you know, while um, while a new developer, is coming into your company and they might have some, you know, new um, new methods for the most part, you know, they might not understand everything that there is to know about Pega. So, you need to be there for them for that. You know, ask them, would you like to have a mentor? Some of them might say no. And then everything that they do is, you know, um, you know, not only, obviously you're going to have to, keep an eye on it kind of thing, but, um, you're going to have to make the assumption that they're perfectly fine with what they have and that, you know, they might not necessarily need any of your help. That can be kind of dangerous because they might make mistakes. So, you have to be kind of ready for that. But for those of them that might say, yes, I would like a mentor, then be that, you know. I would have appreciated someone saying, "Hey, would you like a mentor?" I would have said yes because I would have needed, I wanted a mentor, someone that could help me, guide me through the rest of the Pega Academy to learn the rest of the, learning what I missed, or what I should have been taught to me, um, so that I could take the certification exam again and pass it. But that wasn't given to me. Um, so, um, but just know, I'm not an authorized training partner, and this is not meant to be an instructor-led training. Okay, I'm trying to work for the certification myself, so just just remind yourself of that. you know, I have no association with Pega Academy whatsoever, so if you feel like um, I'm getting some extra benefit from them, I'm not. Most that happens is I send them suggestions about what they can fix, and they say, "Sure, we can do that," or "No, we don't understand what you're trying to say. We're going to ignore it." Whatever. Um, so, um, now concerning the topics, if you're coming in onto this video right now and your interest is business architect, getting the business architect certification, well, I've covered the business architect mission. As you can see, it's already been completed. The 2 missions and 2 modules for 8.7 have been cleared. Okay. Now, I will recommend these 2 modules. They cover the Pega Express delivery. So, if you want to learn more about the Pega Express delivery, then I would recommend that you do the mission right there. Okay, finish off that mission. So that 12% that will be thrown at you on the certification won't be as um, confusing. You'll be able to answer the questions a little bit better. You'll be able to understand the Pega Express delivery more. Otherwise, well, you're going to have to rely that, you're going to have to hope that these 2 modules covers everything, which I don't think it does. Not in my opinion, anyway. Um, now, just know, we're sticking with 8.7 because, it's currently what's been translated. Okay, there is the 8.8 and the 23, but those have not been translated yet, and they're still working on the 23. So, just bear that in mind. My focus is getting to the system architect. I don't really have that much interest in getting the business architect. I have no interest in doing business architect work. So my main interest is getting the system architect certification, passing it, and putting it on my resume. Getting that certification. So it's been a long process, but I mean, every little bit, builds. I need to continue working on the foundation of Pega, so that I'm prepared for when I get to the certification. I answer all the questions correctly. I pass it without any problems. I need to kind of study everything so that I am aware of everything that's going on there. So we're gonna go back into customizing the appearance of a form. Um, let's see. Actually, I don't think we've been here yet. I think we finished off the previous topic last time. Now that I think about it, yeah. So yeah, I was having some problems with this question here, but hey, we passed passed the module quiz, so there's that. Okay, so we're in the customizing the appearance of a form. We're in the information and user interface. 10 minutes. We got 30 minutes to do it, and it doesn't look like that long of a topic, so we should be able to get through it perfectly fine in 30 minutes. So what we got here? Information and the user interface. Data creation in App Studio. When you create fields in App Studio, Pega Platform automatically creates a property in the background. Creates a property or a rule. You can open the property in Dev Studio to configure advanced settings such as security. For example, you can open the case lifecycle in App Studio to add a last name field to the request updates view. The last name property is created automatically and can be opened in Dev Studio. In the center of the following image, slide the vertical line to view the App Studio field creation and the property in Dev Studio. So here's that last name that they're kind of talking about. And here's the property of the last name. And everything that kind of goes along with it, So display of data properties. The term property is often used interchangeably with field, but the two terms are not the same. A field is the combination of a property, which handles data, and a control, which handles the data presentation. Controls serve as a link between the property that stores information and the display of information in the user interface. When you configure a view from the case lifecycle, you add fields to the user interface. For each field, Pega Platform automatically assigns the default control based on the field type, or the type of data you select. For example, on a sign-in form, the username field is a text type, which is displayed as a text box. The Remember Me on this device field is a Boolean type, which is displayed as a checkbox. Pega Platform handles data and user interface separately. You can add data types to a case type before using the data types in a form, and you can add controls to a form without associating them to a data type. For example, when you add a checkbox control to a view at runtime, the control does not automatically reference a property, but when you add a Boolean field type in a case lifecycle, the field is a checkbox control associated with the data element. The data types or properties can be either single value with no intended correlation with any other value, or a set of related values. The mode of a property explains this distinction. Developers typically work with two types of property modes. Value modes describe a single piece of information, such as a total. Controls are used to present the value of a value mode property. Page modes describe a data type, such as customer, that then includes data elements for customer name, customer address, and customer identification number. Layouts, or property containers, present data page modes properties. A page mode property cannot be mapped to a calendar control or button. So hopefully that's self-explanatory for the most part. Obviously they kind of threw, a bit of information at you, but I mean, based off of, previous discussions and it should be, relatively straightforward for the most part. Now once again, they add like another, key term here, property control, and then, value modes and page modes there, right? You know, all of which you're probably going to want to make sure that you are very much aware of, when the time comes when you take the certification. Um, the the only the only concern that I would have with this is the fact that, some of these key terms could have different meanings with, other key terms, um, such as control, such as property. So, um, I could see a little bit of confusion there. So, um, so when it comes to the certification exam, when they're talking about, like, you know, um, um, what is automatically generated from a field in Pega platform on the App Studio. If they say something like that, then, you can, look around for property, you know. Um, um, let's see. Um, you know, what does, you know, uh, what does field contain? Or what two terms are associated with the term and with the field type, you know. And then they could throw at you, like, property, which handles data, and control, which handles data presentation, at you as one of the answers, as a correct answer, right? And then they could say, well, they could say control, which handles data, and property, which handles data presentation. And you have to be careful. You have to make sure that you know the difference between those two. You know, property is just about the data itself, whereas control is about the presentation. So, um, so you're just going to need to kind of remember that for the most part. Okay. Property does not reflect presentation. Um, how can we really, like, stress that? How can we, like, state that in another way to so that you can kind of remember it for next time? Um, let's see. Um, I guess you could probably think of it like, hey, when you're doing a presentation in front of everybody, right? You know, um, there's really nothing in that presentation that you can really associate it with the term property. But what you can think about is the fact that, when you're doing a presentation, you're basically in control of what is going on. You know, Obviously, for the most part, if if everything goes correctly, you're pretty much in control of what's happening right then and there. Okay, you're in control of your speech. You're in control of what information you pass on. You're in control of um, what the person sees in that presentation. You might have, like, a little PowerPoint that you're showing off. So you're in control of that PowerPoint. What exactly information are you showing? You know, so you are basically in control of that presentation. So that might be a good way of kind of remembering that, right? Maybe, you know, I could see something like that. Uh, Property and data, it's like, it's, it, um, that might be a little bit harder to kind of connect with, I would imagine, in a like a different in association kind of way. Um, like you know, data is typically stored somewhere, like a database, and well, that can be like a physical object, like a house, you might say, right? You know, your data's being stored in a house. Well, what's another way of house? Another term for a house? Property. Weird association, I know, but I mean, what else can you really do in this particular case, right? You know, you have to remember what you're going to be. Um, you have to kind of remember these terms because once you get to that certification and they throw that question at you, you're gonna need to be 100% sure about it, or at the very least be able to knock out some of the wrong answers. Okay, like if you look at the question and it says, oh, property is all about presentation, that's incorrect, kind of thing. You'll go, no, property does not have anything to do with presentation. That's the wrong answer, right? So as long as you can get rid of some of the wrong answers, then it might help you narrow down like which ones are the correct answers. Unfortunately, sometimes you might look at it and go, okay, there's two correct and two possible correct answers here. I don't know which one that it is. And unfortunately, that's when you have multiple choice like that, you know um, you sometimes need to kind of deal with that. Obviously you're like, oh, okay, which one is the correct answer and which one's the wrong answer. Um, so so yeah, it can be a bit challenging, not gonna lie, but okay. We'll check our knowledge with the following interaction. You add a blank to configure a view in App Studio. Um, Field. Yeah. Pega platform automatically creates a blank in the background to manage data. So we do property. You can use a blank to collect user input or perform an action on the user interface. Um, Control? Yeah, here we go. Okay. Presentation of data in layouts. Layouts visually organize data elements, such as fields, on a user interface. You can place fields, controls, and other layouts into a layout to quickly organize content. So in other words, you could basically say, hey, I want to put 3 columns into a single column of a 2 column or something like that. Whatever you want to do on your layout design, right? So Pega Platform provides out-of-the-box layout or design templates to use when creating views. You can apply an existing layout template to a view in both App Studio and Dev Studio, but only Dev Studio allows you to create and update a layout template. So, so you can actually create these templates through Dev Studio. Okay, and then you can apply that template to other templates, right? So, or you can kind of combine them together, you know. So as a best practice, use out-of-the-box layout templates for your user interface. Advanced user interface customizations are not App Studio compliant and can complicate updates to the design system. So, but I mean, layouts should be fairly easy to understand for the most part. So I wouldn't I would suspect that you're not going to have too much issue with that or knowing what to do when it comes to overall layout design. So, um, yeah, I'm not really seeing. Um, I'm looking at this one. I'm a little worried that I won't have enough time in the 15 minutes to finish off this one. So we're just gonna go ahead and skip it for now. Or we'll wait until tomorrow to finish it off. So look forward to that on on there. Supposedly it's 5 minutes, but not always. Um, so we might be able to do the repeating layouts and then maybe go on to dynamic layouts the next day. Um, well, maybe. There's a lot of pictures here and not a ton of information. So this might be something that can be fairly easy to kind of get through. So so I would imagine that, repeating layouts and dynamic layouts should be fairly easy to do. And then we'll probably tackle the user interface controls and the module quiz after that. But yeah, that's going to be it for our Pega certification study. We're getting closer and closer to the end. Well, obviously it'll still take a while because there's still a lot of topics to get through. I'll get there. You know, my goal, you know, take the mission test and pass it. You know, now obviously, um, with the 60 questions here, the hour and a half and the passing score of 80% there, this is going to be a little rough because it's not only is it covering all these other modules and challenges, but it's also covering these other two missions that we had before. So, um, another thing is the fact that, um, we need to basically be um, ready, for the certification, when we take it. You know, 60 questions, hour and a half with a passing score of 65. So it's basically, the certification exam is the exact same as the, system architect mission in that it's 60 questions and an hour and a half. But it's not as bad as the, with the pass, it has a passing score of 65% instead of 80. So it's a little bit more lenient. However, the problem is with the certification test, they're pulling questions from previous versions. Um, not just the Pega Platform 23. Um, so, in some ways, I kind of wish that I could do um, you know, getting a difference between the two. Like, what's changed between, um, you know, 8.7, 8.8, and 23. I would really like to kind of see that kind of a difference, like, being able to kind of see that, put that, difference in to kind of see, what's going on there. But again, I don't know. Or, it's not possible, but, boy, I really wish that was the case. Um, but yeah. Um, hey there, Roblox. How you doing, there, bud? And welcome back to the stream. So yeah, it's you know, um, you know, you have when you take this certification, you have to be ready with the case management, 33% there. The data and integration at 23%, security 5%, DevOps at 5, user experience at 12, application development at 12, reporting at 5%, and mobility at 5%. Now, I have my old results somewhere for that. Or at least I believe I did. Hold on, let me see. Where where was my old results? Hmm. It doesn't look like I saved it there. Hmm. That's weird. Where did I put it? Hmm. I saved my results at some point. Not quite sure exactly where I saved it to. I doubt that I put it anywhere on this computer's pictures. I don't think I did that, um, so I doubt that that's there. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I can't remember where I kind of put it right at the moment. Hmm. Okay, well, I guess there's really not much I can really do about this per se, so I'll have to, or at least I can't really remember where I put it. I'll have to maybe look at my old hard drive. I probably put it in there somewhere. I wanted to kind of mention, like, what exactly what my percentage count was when I took and failed my certification exam that first time that I took it, when I was forced to. Um, so, um, just to kind of show, like, you know, like, or, basically say, hey, this is what I experienced um, when I took the certification exam. These were my percentages, so that, if when you do take it, just bear in mind that, this is kind of what happened to me, so that, um, you won't get, um, you won't necessarily get, um, or, you'll understand that, hey, these are what I missed and stuff like that. So yeah, it's something that you'll need to kind of be certain about, when you're going through, if you want to take the Pega Academy certification exam, then this is kind of what you know, be aware of, the topics and everything that kind of goes along with it. Um, so Roblox, I have a playlist of um, my covering of the Pega Academy, or there is being a software developer, I had a job last time that had us, um, that put us with an authorized training partner into a low code environment called Pega, where we basically used our software development to make applications and products for other companies. Um, and they have a means to basically tell, a means of making sure that the developers that work on those projects are certified, or making sure that they know what they're talking about when it comes to Pega, right? The Pega environment. So it's much like, hey, you know, it's basically like going up to an employer and saying, "Yeah, I know all about Microsoft Word," and the employer goes, "Really? Okay. Do you have a certification on it?" And if they do, are you gonna say, "Oh yeah, sure, I have a certification," and they go, "Well, okay, prove it. Show it to me," right? It's like, you know, you can't really, unless you have it, you can't necessarily, there isn't any way for you to go out and say, "Oh yeah, here's my certification." You can't necessarily prove it or anything along those lines without that, you know, without that document, without that seal of approval, without, all that kind of jazz, right? So, um, and Pega probably already has their records of who has taken it, who has passed it, so on and so forth. So, you know, the company in question could look you up and say, "Oh, did you really pass it? Oh, okay. Well, let's look you up. Oh, it's saying here that you actually failed. Well, you just lied on an interview. Goodbye." That kind of thing. So, um, it's when it comes to software development, obviously there's a lot of languages out there, and Pega is pretty much another language that's out there that you can learn and you can take to companies that are working, using Pega to develop, you know, additional applications and the like. So what I'm doing right now is going through, um, they have missions here that you can study, all the topics that they give you, all the information that they give you, so that eventually, you'll learn everything that they present to you, so that, you know, sure, you can take the, the test at the very end there to see if you really do know everything that they're talking about. But the end goal is really, you know, going out, you know, and taking the actual certification exam to be certified, saying that no, you really do know what it is to be a certified Pega system architect. And then you can put that on your resume and you can apply for being a Pega system architect for whatever job that you want. So it's like learning the language C or C++ or Java. But in this case, you know, there's there's a certification process involved that you can take and basically say, hey, I'm certified as a C developer, or I'm certified as a C++ or Java developer, kind of thing. So it's just a way of um, showing that, you are aware of how to go about doing the work that a company might want you to do, when you actually get to a job with it. So if you go in and say, yeah, oh yeah, I totally have a certification on this and stuff like that, and you get to the job and then basically say, oh yeah, you're certified. Okay, well you need to do this, and this, and you need to have it done by the end of the day. If you don't know what the heck they're talking about, then you're gonna be in trouble. You're probably gonna get fired by the end of the day, right? If they tell if you know if your manager comes up to you and says, okay, oh, you're newly certified, oh great, then we're going to be needing a new stage from you that has dual process that can take in some customer information using these particular fields, and we need a confirmation with the manager on that, so we need that by the end of the day. That should be actually fairly easy for someone that is you know, familiar with Pega for the most part. Um, but if they want something a little bit more advanced, say like, hey, we need you to construct an activity using multiple steps of this process to make sure that, the information that we're getting is, you know, um, tested and verified, then yeah, that might get a little bit more dicey, you know. You might need to worry about that a little bit more. If they tell you to um, that you need to manage the rules and upkeeping rules and stuff like that, you're going to be like, if you've never done that before, you know, the certification is supposed to kind of help you with that, right? So that's all. Um, you can kind of think of it like a bar exam for a lawyer, right? You can go to college and you can learn all the tricks and trades of being a lawyer and stuff like that, but eventually you're going to have to take that bar exam to be a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Same kind of thing with this. If you want to be a Pega system architect, then you're going to need to take this certification exam to be, allowed to be a Pega system architect. Same kind of process for the most part. So I do these 1 hour study sessions, you know, pretty much every day. Not every day, but I try to do it as close as I can. And I, go over all the topics, all the challenges, that we face, for this system architect. So, and if software development is something that you have an interest in, then you know, you're welcome to kind of check out the my playlist for the Pega certification. You're welcome to kind of go through this on your own time and because it's the Pega Academy is pretty much free. You can you know make yourself an account on the Pega Academy and go through the system architect certification if you want to, or you can go through the mission of system architect and learn everything that there is to learn there, um, if you find it interesting. So, but I would recommend, if you want to kind of see what the Pega environment is all about. Go on one of my topics. and search for one of the challenges that I do, I list it out as a challenge, meaning there's a module and then there's a challenge. The challenge basically has us go through the process of actually creating like the fields, um, the process of creating the stage, creating a process, creating the approval denial manager and stuff like that. We're actually making that application, you might say, right? Or a process of making that application. So that's what the challenge is all about. Whereas the module is all about um, talking about you know the theory behind it, I guess you might say. So that's all. But that's going to be it for today's certification, um, Pega certification exam. We're going to go ahead and close on down for this session. There's not going to be any Unreal. I haven't gotten a message from Blackheart, so I made the assumption that if I don't hear from him saying that he will make it, I'm to assume that he will not. So we're going to be skipping the Unreal and going straight into the video uploads. So, but that's it. And that's where we're going to go ahead and end it. So, um, Roblox, feel free to ask any additional questions if you want to concerning the Pega environment. Or, if you want to go through the old videos of mine and ask questions there if you have any. Um, I've already I've already made public quite a bit already for anybody to consume. Um, you know, everything that I have marked as completed, it's already on the playlist. You know, or it's going to be released, sometime in the next couple days. So, um, so that's available if anybody wants to go through that. But again, bear in mind that I'm using the version right now that has been translated in different languages. Okay, there is an 8.8 version and the newest 23 version that they just came out with. Um, so, they're done with the 8.8. They're working on the 23 right now. Okay. Um, the 8.8, they still need to translate out, in these different languages. Obviously, that'll take time for them to go about doing that, but for time being, you know, um, I'm doing the 8.7 because of the translation and stuff like that. So, um, plus I don't think there's really been that much of a change between 8.8 and 8.7, to be honest. Or there probably isn't that much of a change, but I don't know. I don't, it's hard for me to say, right? Um, so, I mean, if you want to study the system architect, then and be ready for the certification exam, then I would probably go through like the Pega Platform 23 and start with that, you know. Because if I'm not mistaken, the 23 system architect has more missions. Yeah, see there's 3 missions, 18 modules, and 17 challenges in the 23 version. So they have the low-code app builder, like before, the low-code app builder extended, um, and they have an additional mission inside the low-code app builder, which is interesting. Um, oh, and they included a data and integration essentials mission in here. Interesting. Okay. Um, let's see. Yeah, it looks like everything's pretty much done there for the most part. What is the new mission in the low-code app builder extended that they added? Um, Oh, okay. They're just basically saying that, hey, here's the low code app builder that was already, available. So I mean, even if you know um, you go back to system architect, you already have the low code app builder there. So it's like once you do that, you're already done with the one mission that's there. So um, they're just saying, hey, if you're going into the low code app builder extended, outside of the system architect, you better have the low code app builder done as well. So it makes sense. Um, but yeah, as you can see, there's been some changes. They've been changing it up a little bit. Working on taking care of some additional topics, modules, and stuff like that. So you can kind of see the difference between 8.7, with the two missions, 26 modules and 23 challenges, to the three missions, 18 modules and 17 challenges. So although um, you're missing six challenges there and eight modules there, which is um, pretty much what the data integration essentials is all about. Of seven modules and six challenges. So they basically took, you know, the they basically took, eight of the modules there and six of the challenges there and put it into its own mission. Okay, interesting. But that's it. That's where we're gonna go ahead and end our video on that. So, um, we're gonna go ahead and end it there. So I want to thank you all for watching. Feel free to help me out with the YouTube algorithm with the like and subscribe. That would be fantastic. Check out the description for additional links such as social media, my Patreon and Throne links if you're interested in helping me out in that fashion. Or, check out my stream team that I have. Um, we're always looking for more members in that team, streamers and non-streamers alike to join it to help out, everybody on the team and, continue to make it grow. Um, so check that out if you're interested in that. Um, but yeah, that's where we're gonna go ahead and end it for tonight. So I want to thank you all for joining me for this session. Again, feel free to ask any kind of questions on these videos because, you know, heck, I have some questions of my own sometimes on these videos, and I have no problem, you know, getting constructive criticism or, if I get answers to those questions, it would greatly help me out. And anybody else that might have the same questions as well. Um, but, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer if I can, or I will try to find someone that can answer your questions. I have past coworkers that I can ask. Um, so don't be afraid to ask those questions. So, and that's it. That's where we're going to end. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll catch you next time. But until then, take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy, stay safe. And I'll catch you strangers next time.